Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is King Ruthless, and I'm bringing you the final StarCraft 2 commentary of this ZvP series, How to Roach, Ling, Muta for Dummies. I am your host as always, King Ruthless, and let me go ahead and introduce these two players without further ado. We have Decaf, the Austrian Zerg High Master. He's been the hero of these past 7 videos in the series of how to play the Roach, Ling, Muta style. And I've had some success with this as well, but let me go ahead and introduce his opponent, who is a Grandmaster Protoss, by the way. Spawning in the top right on Tal'Darim Altar is tinToss. Is a Grandmaster Protoss, so whatever you guys might think about how well this build works at lower levels, or maybe it won't work in Grandmasters, it works okay actually. If it can beat Grandmasters, it's obviously a decent build. But I'm going to talk about this build. You have to have near impeccable mechanics. Basically, when you're in the zone with your injects, this build is scary. When you have your upgrade timings correct and your gas timings correct, this build is scary. And I've tried it with some varying success, so I'm going to post up 2 videos after this of me trying this build. We're going to see. I'm not going to try and spoil anything, but it's going to be 2 very different videos and 2 very different analogies. So I hope you guys enjoy that. You know, for the record, I am simply a Platinum Protoss, High Platinum, or not Protoss. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just said that. The High Platinum Zerg. Is that a Freudian slip or something? Am I supposed to change to Protoss? I hope not, because, you know, screw Protoss. No, I'm just kidding, guys. But, anyways, I'm sorry as well, you know, the reason these videos haven't been out for a while. I had to reduce some of the cast because I wanted for them to be a little bit more analytical and in-depth and done correctly. And as well, I've been away on business for a while, so I just wasn't able to get these done in time. And also Skyrim came out, so that's the other excuse. So now that my excuses are up, these videos are going to go up. Anyways, we have a 12 pull here from Decaf, as always, that 15 Overlord, and now he's going to make the Queen with 4 Lings. Basically to go and make sure that Protoss doesn't wall him off or cannon or anything like that. Now, the great thing about 12 pull, like I said before, is that Protoss can't wall you off. I actually did a 12 pull and the Protoss walled me off, but I mean, I'll have to show you that game. I'm going to cast that game because that was pretty interesting. So I'm going to show you exactly what happens when that, when that does occur. But anyways, Lings and Drone are picking away this pylon, just trying to get that expansion up as soon as possible. Notice he's still droning up here. I mean, a lot of newer Zerg players, or newer players in general, say, oh, if I don't, hit the build order exactly, everything is thrown off, and it's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world at all. You can delay until, 23 food if you have to. Just make sure you're back on trying to take your expansion. You can see his minerals are a bit high. He's going to go ahead and take his hatchery, but, Protoss has lost some money as well. And as a result, I mean, there's 4 Lings out on the map. If Zerg were to counterattack here with this a lot of Lings and maybe some Banelings or Roaches, Protoss would be in a lot of trouble here. So, as a response to knowing that, I mean, he wasted a lot of minerals trying to block that expansion. He's going to have to, make this a true wall off. I mean, you can get away with not making it a true wall off, but it's very risky. You might want to build another cannon or 2 just to make sure that you're safe. But as we see as a result here, he's got to make 2 gateways, so it's going to delay his the timing of his cybernetics core, so on and so forth. Still no gas. Nope, no gas for the Protoss, but he has taken his Nexus. So Lings are going to poke in here, just being very active. You saw them, just running around the map. I guess they were just trying to see where Protoss scouted. Another hallmark of this build is that you can send your Overlords wherever you like because you do the 12 pull. You'll have those Lings out on the map. They can't be sniped. You can send them wherever. And this guy's on a course, I guess, to go and sneak around to the back where he can do some scouting. And this guy probably coming over here to this corner so you can scout from 2 sides. So just getting them in position very early on in the game is very helpful. Good news, we see a lot of Zerglings just running around scouting. And here's something I like. I think his injects might have been slightly off because usually he has no, energy for injects. But Decaf lays down a creep tumor here. I think 1, maybe 2 creep tumors is worthwhile with this build, which is why when I try it sometimes I get a 3rd queen. The way Decaf does it is very tight, so I'm not sure what his opinion is on a 3rd queen, but he generally does not get a 3rd queen. In fact, he generally spends all of his energy from his queens on injects. So anyways, we saw about the, what was that, the 6-minute mark this 3rd went down. And, it's a little bit late. You usually win it by the 5-minute mark or 5.5 if you can, if you can tell that your Protoss opponent has gone for that Forge Fast Expand build and that there's no sort of, super early aggression coming. I think decaf might have been a bit hesitant here because of the 2-gate. Not sure, by the way. He might, seen these 2 gateways and thought, oh no, Protoss might be really aggressive here, do some sort of, what's his name, Kiwakaki-style aggression with, 7 or 8 zealots, go to deny the 3rd, etc. But, as you can see here, he sees no proxy pylons, he's just scouting around, being very active with his Lings in general, and keeping his energy really low on the Queens. So, gas timings, basically around 40, and as well, as generally when you want to get these Roach War and Evolution Chamber up, you want to get all 4 gas, generally speaking, when these 2 bases are fully saturated. But as you see here, he grabbed a faster 3rd gas, so maybe he's fearful again of a counterattack. So maybe he's doing this so he can get faster upgrades and get roaches out if he needs to do. But anyways, we see Overlord just floating in here. He sees that Warp Gate research hasn't even completed. 8 drones are the correct response to this, and it looks like tinToss is going to go for a Twilight Council build, so maybe see some Blink Stalkers or maybe some charge lots. One thing I kind of do like about this, double gateway build and delayed cybernetic score is that Protoss can now get out Zealots to take down these rocks, so he can grab his 3rd a little bit faster. So that is kind of nice. But yeah, let's go back to the build, from Zerg. He got his Evolution Chamber before Roach Warren, started on his +1, and he's also has his lair about to complete. So, once again, doing a decent job spreading the creep, not doing much of the creep timbers. Now that he has 3 bases, which are about to be fully mining, he's going to go ahead and grab a macro hatchery as well. Generally, when decaf gets on 3 bases, he'll throw down a macro hatch. 4 bases, he throw down another macro hatch. You'll see that sometimes, especially on smaller maps. On larger maps, you can also just grab more bases around the maps. You can be more aggressive with your expansions. Okay, so basically what we see here is the other 2 gas guys is going down. We have the Spire on the way, +1 range attacks for Zerg coming. And, Protoss is still just trying to get up his 3rd, so he's being really passive at this point. He's actually thrown down 2 robotics facilities. That's kind of, makes me wonder. I think he's getting all this tech just in case, like, a Roach Ling all-in comes, like a delayed Roach Ling all-in, and he can deal with it that way. But now he's getting the Templar archives, so I'm not sure where he got double robo if he wasn't going to use it. So that's kind of throwing me off. But anyways, the Observer did come in here, and did scout the Spire. So, as a result, tinToss is going to immediately throw down 2 Stargates. And he's going to know that, going for robo isn't the best idea right here. But, we'll finish getting that Immortal. We'll get these gas guys just going as soon as he can. He's a really small army, so he does have a bit of Chrono Boost. I thought he did. No, he's been very good with this Chrono Boost. This shows why this guy is Grandmaster. A lot of Protosses out there just terrible with their Chrono Boosts and wonder why they, lose early pushes. It's because it's like, the macro, the inject mechanic almost. It's how fast you can get units or upgrades out. But anyways, we see the +2 Glimmer Constitution once that layer finished, as well as an Infestation Pit, so a little bit of a deviation. That Overseer came in here and he did scout that it was double Stargate. So we see a 2nd Evolution Chamber going down. That Infestation Pit was on the way, so I think he might have been going for fast 5, or maybe just fast, +3. But now he's going to get that +1 Carapace as well. And, let's see, Protoss is starting on his ground weapons level 2, and just pumping out nothing but Phoenixes. So Decaf's going to come in here and scout this Overseer that he's chrono boosting, Phoenixes out non-stop. So this means going for Mutas is not the correct choice. Now I want to pause here for just 1 second. Alright. So we're going to go to decision-making time. Decaf saw that there were 3 bases going up. I believe he did. Well, he assumes that there's 3 bases coming up because there's no push coming. But anyways, he's grabbing his 4th. He's being very cautious about expanding too much, but he's going to go and grab his 5th. I'm guessing he assumes that there is a 3rd base here. But what he saw here was a lot of tech. You have 2 robotics facilities. You have a Templar archives. You have a Twilight Council. These cost gas. Costs a lot of gas. And when you see a Chrono Boost on these 2 Stargates, his army is going to be weak. But if you allow him to macro, this army is going to be incredibly terrifying, and you just might lose to a, nasty push. So let's go back and see what the decision making was. We have a Spire here, but no Mutas. That is the correct choice because especially when you see double Stargate and just pumping out Phoenixes, you can make Mutalists. They're just not as effective, so they're not able to do as much damage as you would like. So we're going to see what Decaf does here momentarily, which is why it's my favorite game. So, we have 14 Roaches out and on the way. We do have a second evolution chamber hive starting. And I'm just waiting for my favorite part of this game to happen. So pumping lots and lots and lots of roaches. Roaches and Lings heading towards the third. A couple of spore crawlers going down as well. Just basically so that the phoenixes can't do too much damage to his drone, to his economy. So the Lings and Roaches are coming in for an attack. That +2 is about to complete. Zergling's getting a little bit ahead of themselves, but they do make nice scouts. And the Roaches and Lings just going to come in here and be very annoying. This cannon will start getting focused down. Now look how small Protoss' army is. It's not very big at all, but it's very powerful. Very small and powerful army. Archon has started as well. And this will get cleaned up, but there's a lot of Phoenixes here. And they do better against Mutalisks. They do better against things like Hydras in small numbers. But let's go ahead and see what decaf is going to do here. There's a Nidus network going down. So this is indicative of a very strong play. Unless you're going to expand like crazy, you just want to make sure you get units there ASAP. I mean, lots of roaches being pumped out here. So this is aggression we're seeing. And a Hydraless Den starting. He's going to have +2 attack Hydra's Roach Hydra, which is going to do quite well against this army. Look how small it is. And you have all these Immortals, you have these Zealots, these Stalkers, a couple of Phoenix, not that many. Stop making Phoenix. And Storm has just begun. So there is a timing window here that decaf can attack and either shut down the third of his opponent or kill his army, or both. And if he doesn't hit it correctly, he's going to be pretty far behind. Now the Observer does come in here and does scout that the Grave Spire is going down. We meanwhile do have a 4th and a 5th, which are up but not currently being mined from. And 20 Hydras on the way, and they're, I think they're going to be rallied. Where are they being rallied to? They should be rallied to this Nidus Worm. Where are these Hydras going? There they go, straight to the Nidus Worm. And there goes the Zerg's version of a proxy pylon. Nidus Worm going down outside the third. Protoss has his Phoenix is a little bit out of position, but just guarding its mutas. We have Storm, which is about 60% complete here, and I think he's going to push out and hit a Storm timing. But up goes the Nidus Worm, and Roach Hydra coming in to deny the third. Let's see how this game goes. We're going to kind of slow it down. No, we're not. We're just going to watch it in full time. So Roaches and Hydras picking away at these cannons. Meanwhile, the Hydras are in the back, and they are starting to engage the army. These Roaches do need to pull back, but he's having to come up the ramp, and Storm isn't complete, so there are no Storms. This was a huge blunder here from tinToss, not chrono boosting that out in time. These Archons are going to be particularly worthless against a mass Roach Hydra army, and he's not taking down this Nidus Worm, so he's going to be able to reinforce with whatever unit he likes. And tinToss has lost his entire army. This Nidus Worm is still here, so the aggression will continue. Meanwhile, the third is going to be null and void here soon. A couple Hydras to continue to pick away at these warp gates. And Protoss is in a nasty situation here. He's only got a couple of Immortals. He's double chrono boosting out, and he's trying to get a Colossus out. You need Colossus, you need Expanded Thermal Lance, you need Storm something to deal with this. Storm won't come in time, though, because the attack is right at your door. Roaches and Hydras coming in. They have a great concave. Hydras are taking a bit of damage, but more Roaches are streaming in. The Roaches should move up towards the front. Yes, he does let them in, so they can bear more of the brunt of the damage. And this entire army will go down, ladies and gentlemen. And that semi-all-in has worked magnificently. So decaf taking the game from tinToss to Grandmaster Protoss. That was a very exciting strategy for me. I very much enjoyed that game. But just showing how you can do a tech switch. You don't have to necessarily go for Mutalisks just because you build a Spire. He had it, so he kept on going with these missile attack upgrades. Let's see, did he have any... He didn't have any melee attacks at all. So he's really focusing on Roach and, a potential switch to Hydra. But, once he saw that double Stargate just, chrono boosting out non-stop Phoenix production, the smartest move right there, what you can do, your Protoss is on 3 bases, he's kind of spread out, he's made a lot of tech, he's not going to have a lot of units. Is you go in there and you do an attack like this. If it works, you're really far ahead, you can even win the game. If it doesn't work, it's either going to even out or you're going to be behind. So, obviously, that's how it works. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed the cast. I'm going to go ahead and cast the other 2 matches where I tried to do this style, and we're going to see how well it works. Coming from a Platinum Zerg perspective, we can go and point out the things that I do right and wrong, etc., so on and so forth. But anyways, be sure to check out the teamlook.net thread that decaf has wrote. I will put us below in the comments. Be sure to rate, subscribe, comment, favorite, all that fun stuff. And I've really enjoyed casting this series, so I will see you guys next time. Peace.